Hello, I'm Mike, and this is the Monome Norns Shield. It's a incredible little sound computer that runs on the Raspberry Pi computer, and it's pretty neat. What can you do with it? You can do just about anything you want. The platform is open source, and it's composed of a bunch of scripts that you can load. So I already have a bunch of scripts on here. It comes with a number of scripts. There's also a bunch of community scripts, and they all do lots of really cool, interesting things with sound and music and loops and sequencers. But what's really awesome is you can write your own scripts, and that's what I've been doing. So what I have here, I'm currently calling just gridstep, and it basically is an isometric keyboard, so you can play notes in a scale. And that's the scale of C major. It's a keyboard, isometric keyboard, meaning that all the notes will go sort of up in the scale, so I can play 3, and this note is the same as this note, so you can go up by 3 and basically play a full scale across the keyboard. And I can move the whole thing up to get in the higher registers, or down low to play some super low notes. I'll keep it in sort of this middle range. There's 2 styles of the grid that you can use. There's this mode, which is in scale, so any note you play is going to be locked to the scale you're selected. And I can press this button, and this is a chromatic view, so this allows you to play every note. Let's go up a little bit. So you can get all your off-key notes and play them, but it also lights up the in-scale notes too. So I tend to prefer the in-scale mode because then I don't ever make any mistakes. The in-scale mode also has some cool features, like you can, if you have a sequence playing, you can quickly change the scale and everything will work, and you can change the root key. So here on this menu I can just change the root key. Let's do like a E, and instead of a major, let's do maybe a harmonic minor. What's also cool about this grid layout is it makes it really easy and sort of brainless to play chords. So we just make this same pattern. You can play a chord, and this is like a 7th chord. You can have lots of fun with it. I also like this pattern. So it's really fun to play key this way, and I also included some cool animations you see, so it lights up while you're playing, and also turn off these lights that show me what the root notes are. And you got a nice animated experience. Turn them back on, and it's also a sequencer, and it sequences which keys I'm playing. So if I hit play, which is this button, and see it playing through, right now the track's limited to 16 steps. Can enable record right here and play something. See as it plays, you see each note that was played. If I turn off the light, it's even cooler. But besides just recording it, you can also enter a step sequencer mode. So if I hit this button, you've entered the step sequencer mode. So all 16 steps are up here, and I can select a step, or I can use these two buttons to go forward or backwards. And the keys that are lit up are steps that have notes in them. So I can turn that off so it's really obvious which note is in which step. So you can see I play do, 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 do. Now, if I don't like the timing of that, I have these three buttons are cut, copy, and paste. I sort of visually separated them out so they're sort of obvious. And I like cut quite a bit because you can rearrange. So if I hold cut, press a step, and then press a empty step, it pastes it to that step. It's more obvious if I'm not on the, if I haven't selected the step I'm cutting. So if I go boop, boop, moves the step. So let's play and rearrange some notes. And copy and paste also work. Copy, paste, paste, paste. If I want to delete them, I just cut, cut, cut. They're gone. And copy. Here's paste, 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 paste. And so cut, copy, paste works quite well. If I select a step, you can edit the note. So let's make something simple. This is my shift key. If I hold shift and then hit all the way on the right, I can clear the sequence out. Turn back on the lights. Go to step 1. And you can select which notes are being played for a step. So we'll play a chord right there. Great. And if it's playing, notice when I select notes, they're playing. If I am playing and I select notes, they won't sound, so it's kind of nice for editing a step. So I can do this, put something in. That's a nice sound. Copy that. Get something lower. I'm gonna exit out of the sequencer and play around. So you can also, when you select a step, you can, there's a level right here, which is that step's velocity. And this one right here is the length. So let's just do one step. So cut these out. So you got chord playing. Where's that chord at? It's up here. Turn off the lights. Lower the velocity. Now this is a 1/16 note. So it just plays it for one length. This is twice that length. Again twice. This is about half the bar. This is the entire bar. And this is twice the bar, which the pattern length's only 16 right now, so that's not very helpful yet. But what you can also do is, besides editing the levels here, I have separate pages for editing the velocities and the levels. So let's just record in a sequence. And by the way, the sound engine is a Norn sound engine called Molly the Poly, which is a polyphonic synthesizer. It sounds awesome. It has some cool functions for randomly generating sounds, so it's a lot of fun playing with it. I just have it mapped so I can hit this button. It's going to create a new random sound. It's kind of a nice bell sound. You can see if I hit again. And all these parameters, if I go into this menu here, you can scroll down. All the parameters for the synth are there. And they even have different buttons for my button I'm pressing is creating a lead. You can also create a pad. I can create a percussive sound. That's too crazy. That sounds pretty sweet. Alright. So let's do something cool with that. Alright, hit record, play. Alright. Let's make this guy do 4 on the floor. Sounds pretty weird and kind of cool. I hold this button, velocity right here. Once you're in velocity mode, you can exit out like this. I'll pause it so you can hear me. And this is the length mode. So right now all the lengths start out pretty short, except when you record them, it records the length. It actually is recording the length per note, so at some point I will actually make it so you can hold down a note, and while you're holding down the note, change the note's length. But once you're on a selected step, right now I just have features to change the velocity and note length of every step. It'll get more feature packed as I go, but keeping it to just velocity and length on the step right now is the easiest to develop for. So let's play with the velocity. Exit out, let's start playback. Also just notice that this guy isn't updating correctly and rendering when I'm in the velocity mode. That's just me forgetting to add in a feature to that mode. It'll come. I also do level lengths, so which might not work too well with the percussive sound. Let's see. The length doesn't matter with this percussive sound. So let's clear. Give me a new lead sound. See what we got. Let's go a little lower. Let's do something like that. Let's clear that. Exit out. Let's do something. Let's just program in something. Let's do that guy for maybe that length and this guy. showed off most everything you can do right now. One other cool thing you can do is while I'm playing, you can change the scale. But yeah, that is GridSeek, and I will be releasing this reasonably soon. So anyone with a Norns, and of course it requires a Monome Grid, can check this out. But what's to come, I plan on making it so you can sequence more than 16 parts. So I'll have basically a sort of length page where I'm probably going to make it so you set the length of a bar, and then another row will set how many bars are in your pattern. I'll have to play around with it, but that seems like a good way to do it. And then I also plan on having the ability to do multiple tracks. Right now you just get the one instrument. Also need the ability to actually send MIDI out externally, which will be very useful once I have multiple tracks. And then also, in addition to that, I plan on having sort of a Ableton Live style clip launcher for each track, so you can make different patterns, and then each track, I'm probably going to lay out each track vertically, and then the clips will be below that, so you could click and select a track, and then below your selected track you'll see lit up some clips like that. I'm just drawing this because why not? And turn down the levels though. I'll just turn down that. Alright. So you can imagine this could be a track. These are 3 clips. Unclick each one, switch between them. This could be a track. It's only got one. This one could have a couple, etc. Then you can have a button on the side that I press to launch all these clips. Boom, launch all these clips. Boom, launch this. Ableton Lifestyle. I think that will be a lot of fun. But yeah, I gotta say, programming for the Norns is a ton of fun. This is my first sort of serious musical application I've worked on. And this device is a ton of fun if you're thinking about making your own sort of custom music hardware and want to get into it. I highly recommend starting with a Monome Norns and see what you can do for it. It uses Lua as a scripting language. I'm a C# programmer, so Lua's sort of a little weird, a little bit more sort of like Python, and it's not typed, which can be kind of frustrating, but I'm getting through it, and it's not that bad to program in. And the great thing with Norns is once I do program, it's very easy to push and update my script and get my code running on here. It's all connected via Wi-Fi. I basically have a web interface, and I just, type in a command. It reloads the script on here instantly. It's awesome. Development iteration, going from coding to testing it is crazy fast. So it's awesome. I haven't done too much with the screen yet. I plan on showing helpful messages when you switch modes and stuff to help you sort of know exactly what you're doing. Especially like these things that would show like cut, copy, paste. And you can see the steps, and also I probably will eventually do parameter locking, so you can maybe select a step, and then for your step you can say, all right, you only trigger 1 out of every 2 bars, or you only trigger 40% of the time. Parameter locking is a ton of fun, especially if you're just working with 16 steps. You can use parameter locking to sort of give life and make your pattern sound really cool and sound like a pattern that's a lot longer than 16 steps. And that, that should be pretty trivial to add in those features. And possibly I'll do pattern locking per step, but also parameter locking per note on the step. It would be cool, something I'd like to do would be able to switch between the isometric grid view, right? Switch between this and a sort of classic piano roll view for sequencing, like I have on my Deluge over here. It can do piano roll sequencing like that. It's awesome. It'd be awesome to be able on the Monome grid to switch between that. The main problem with that is that in order to play back the notes, right, you see when you hit play, you see they play back in the grid position I played them. So the problem with switching between the two is I'm saving the notes not as note values, but as grid positions, because you can see like this note and I think this note. See, these are all the same notes. If I go down, they're all the same notes. So if I stored the sequence as notes and it played back, basically when this key played, all of these would light up, which it's not as cool animation wise, so I have to think of what I do, because I could definitely convert these grid notes. I definitely convert this data to a piano roll style data, because each one of these ends up as a note value. But then if I program stuff in, say, a piano roll, converting it back to the isometric grid view, that's I'd basically maybe make some random assumptions, or like maybe if you convert data back into this, if the notes changed on the piano roll view, I would basically maybe put all the notes from the piano roll in this middle section. So, because that's not going to have any repeating grid notes as you go up and down, right? So if I just said everything, boom, ends up in here, but then I'd also have to, do something similar for the chromatic mode. So that's not a high priority feature at the moment, but it will come maybe one day once I've had all the other features I want to add in fleshed out. But yeah, I'm really, I also gotta make it so you can save patterns and load them. Shouldn't be too difficult, but still take some time to iron out all the bugs of that. But anyways, yeah, having a ton of fun playing with this thing and developing this and adding features. I'm looking forward to getting this fleshed out, because for the way I make music and I like to quickly experiment with different things, and I'm not always best on a keyboard trying to figure out what notes go to each other. So being able to always perfectly play in scale and mostly experiment with intervals and different chord shapes and experiment with the rhythm and everything, this sort of workflow really jives for me. And maybe something like this has been done in software, but I don't know, something about having these physical LED keys is just, it feels like a hands-on instrument. It's better to me than like doing something on an iPad, like if, you got a good push, there's no velocity, but I feel connected with the device, and for me it's funner to make music that way. So but yeah, loving this, and see you later.